Good morning. So today is Friday and I basically thought I was going to talk to you a little bit about CSS frameworks, and specifically the ones that I've used in the past is Bootstrap, Foundation, and Ink for emails. So I wanted to share a little bit of my experience working with these frameworks and things that I think are important to take into account when you use them. Now, if you are if you're just starting out and you want to be able to do a responsive design and like get things to look all nice, and you're really not that comfortable with CSS just yet, these frameworks are, on the plus side, a really great thing to use in order to get something that looks very nice very quickly. The thing that you need to be aware of, though, is that you very quickly become dependent on them. So what I'm saying is that these frameworks were designed to they're still around, but originally they were designed because the browsers and like CSS in general was really bad at allowing us to do responsive layouts and responsive designs, and it kind of came from there because a lot of the complexity that, say, Bootstrap solves for you has more to do with layouts and the columns and the rows. That's in essence that's the backbone of that entire thing. I mean, there's so many other CSS style frameworks where it's just you get a button that looks a certain way and so forth, but this is what Bootstrap really did well, and Foundation did very much the same thing. So the good part is that you can get really, if you just want to make something really quickly, you don't want to focus on styling or anything like that, and you don't mind so much that you have the same look and feel like maybe 100 different websites, because that is actually a drawback. I see this all the time. I mean, if for those of you who have been doing this for a while, you can almost smell Bootstrap when it's on a page. It's like you can see that, you can almost feel that it's there, because depending on like layouts and certain, because there's some things are so iconic for the Bootstrap layout. The same thing goes for Foundation in a sense, not as much as Bootstrap. So what I would suggest to you guys, if you're looking into these frameworks, it's for Bootstrap and Foundation, before you go into them. If you are just, let's say you're creating an admin panel or something for a customer, they have no preference whatsoever on design, or like they are not looking for something custom, they just want something done like today, then yeah, you can use them if you feel that you're going to be productive. But remember that there's also like a trade-off, because Bootstrap, like, you can optimize these things, but these are fairly large frameworks. So, and I've seen people who have just they use Bootstrap only for like the icon fonts, or maybe a little bit of layout. Like they add this massive overhead for very little value. It's the same thing we do with jQuery. Like they use jQuery to do Ajax calls, but jQuery does a lot of other stuff as well. So you're using not even 5% of the total data that you're sending to your user, right? So have that in mind. Like if you just want to create an entire website or a blog or whatever very quickly, yeah, use them. But the main benefit that they used to provide is now solved through something called Flexbox, and Grid is also on. It's almost at full support now, so it's going to be the next thing for layouts. And when these things are in place and you know them, you don't really need Bootstrap anymore. It almost becomes redundant. It has a lot of other cool stuff, as I said, but honestly, in my experience, the rule of thumb is that everybody wants a custom thing. I don't think I've ever spoken to, like, it doesn't matter if my customer is a single person trying to start their own business, or if it's Ticketmaster, or if it's Google, like whoever. Everybody, like every single person wants a custom experience, because we're all different people, and that's how it works. Now, that's what I think about Bootstrap and Foundation. So to summarize, use them if you just want something really quickly and you don't care about long term or anything like that. If you don't have that requirement, if you have any requirement to customize things or make things look and feel a certain way, don't lock yourself into that, because some things are easy to make custom in Bootstrap, but you are a little bit limited in certain situations, and that's a risk. And I argue, don't take that risk unless you know exactly what you're doing. However, when it comes to ink, it is actually a really interesting thing to talk about, because the HTML email support for most like email clients and so forth is so horrendously bad that I actually argue that like I would even go as far as to say maybe some people have made this work for them, but in my experience, doing just vanilla HTML emails without any framework like Ink or something like that, that is really difficult. And to make it look good on all the different clients, and I mean, like we are so behind on HTML emails. At least the last time I had to make them. So I would actually encourage you to use Ink or something similar if you want to do those emails, or even go like I would even go one further and say that if you have a customer who wants you to make one of those things and you never made them before, buy them. Like buy a template, because it is very difficult, and there are so many different email clients that you're gonna have to cater for, and some of them if you think that the browsers and the browser vendors have differences, it used to be 100 times worse back in the day, and it's still pretty much that situation for email clients. So yeah, those are my tips for CSS frameworks.